What's going on? This is Sigma. I'm going to be going over what I think are the 5 most important tips to becoming a player, especially at CQB. This may translate well on an outdoor field with something that's like a hybrid, maybe like a mount field. But for me, these are 5 tips to help you become a better player. Now, you probably already have your own gear. You probably played a couple of times at different fields, and you want to progress and become a better player. These tips out here, if you consistently pay attention to them and actually think about it, you'll become a better player, guaranteed. Now, the number one, in my opinion, the number one biggest tip would be to be intimately familiar with your zero distance weapon. I don't care if it's a pistol or a shotgun, or in my case, an MP5K, you're gonna need that. You're gonna use your pistol. Now, I know there are a lot of fields out there with like 350 FPS and down, and they're anything goes, and then they require you to use either like a surrender or parlay or whatever once you get into that super close distance, point blank range. However, who do you think is gonna get it first? The surrender first. Someone with this big old 30-inch 10-pound rifle, or someone with a quick and light pistol. Okay, so definitely be intimately familiar with that weapon, and don't be afraid to use it. I mean, I don't care if it's you and versus 3 guys at 25 feet away, or you bust into a door and there's a guy there, and you're ready to go. Don't be afraid to use it, because you're gonna use it pretty much. Now, the second biggest tip I would say would be to be familiar with your field. Now, I know that this isn't always possible, especially if you travel. Let's say you wanted to go all the way to Southern California to SC Viper, and you've never played that ever before, but you like the field, you've seen it on YouTube and whatnot. Well, back when I used to play paintball, we used to have this thing called walking the field. Basically, what you do is either before the matches or during lunch, just go ahead and take a walk around the field. Go ahead and see where all the good spots are, or wherever you think they are. See where you need to get, and just try to take it in. Where are all the windows at? Where are the good shooting spots and all the lanes? Where do you think you can make running versus getting shot? It's like, oh, I'm not gonna run this way. I'll get shot out. Just pay attention to that. Pay attention to the surroundings. Number 3 would be to be aggressive, definitely. Especially all you newer players out there. A lot of times if you feel like you need to warm up, or you're afraid of getting hit, and what do? You camp. Don't camp, because that doesn't help your team, doesn't help you. Ultimately, what happens is you end up getting flanked or rushed, and then you just get overwhelmed, and then boom, you still get hit, you still get out. It doesn't do anything. So, by all means, be aggressive as you can, take as much ground as you can, and it just gives you more options for you and your team to move around, take good cover versus getting crappy cover, and just being able to, move around and be flexible. Number 4, I would say be accessorize, accessorize, accessorize. Whether it be weapon lights, thunder bees, tornadoes, lasers. Use them if you got them. Now, going in and rushing into a building and trying to clear it, maybe take 1 or 2 guys out with your pistol, that's all great. But for me, if I can just throw in a tornado and take them all out without sacrificing myself, that's just way better for me, in my opinion. So, if you have those extra tools at your disposal, definitely use them. Now, the last tip would be to basically learn from others. So, now if there's always somebody that's going to be more experienced, better than you on the field, especially if you're newer. So, take the time to watch them. I don't care if you just standing on the sidelines, or you got shot out and you got your gun up, or your dead rag on. Take a look at the other players on both sides, whether it be on your team or Op 4. just see how they work. If you notice that you got shot in the shoulder, and you put your gun up, and then you look, and you can find where you got shot, and you say, oh wow, that was a great spot. This window out of this angle, it was just right, spot on. And I noticed that I exposed my shoulder, so that's just one thing to take back, and play. Maybe next round you might utilize that spot and get your revenge. So always learn from other players. Don't be afraid to emulate them or copy them, as long as it's not calling your hits, because that's not cool. But these 5 tips will definitely make you a better airsoft player, especially at CQB. And with that, Sigma.